Welcome to this video. Yeah, this is no blitz game this time. Yeah, I'm glad to be back doing some other videos. Yeah, now that I got my vacation done, I played the GM event that I wanted to play. I played this last week and also got my books finished. My book is finished. Just some very minor corrections and little things to do, but the whole bulk of it is done. So I've got some more time now to do other things, and one of this is of course doing more videos. Yeah, let's start. I want to definitely get to do the viewer games. I got so many interesting games to show and analyze, but I guess some of you are interested what I did in this GM tournament in Mallorca. Yeah, I didn't do really well. Those of you who maybe watched the live stream yesterday, I finished on a -1 score, losing 2 games, 1 draw, losing 2 games, 1 win, only 1 win, and rest of it draws. So not very successful. And I want to really sort of finish the. I want to, let's say, put an end to this event by covering it on the channel, and then look forward to do other things. It really wasn't great what I did in this tournament. I'm making not a game or round by round coverage because simply games at the end, they weren't very interesting. When I was basically out of contention for anything interesting, which is the GM norm, of course, I was pretty much content to just play a quick draw against the GMs. They were on paper better players anyway, and if they offer me a draw, I didn't really had any big ambition to fight for some rating points there. I was glad to have some days of holiday then, after I played myself out of any ambition. Let's get going and see what happens. I'm calling this small little series, a 3-parter, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, one of my favorite movies, by the way. And it kind of characterizes the 3 groups of games. I had 1 good game, 2 bad games, let's say, and 2 really ugly games. So we're going to see those games in the next couple of days. Okay, this is the first round game. I'm playing Spanish FIDE master Eric Martinez Ramirez, younger FM in his early 20s, rated 2,301 exactly. Yeah, he went e4, and this was expected. I had a brief look in the preparation, and he's an e4 player playing active openings. E4 all of the time. Yeah, of course, I normally go e5, but he played some things there that I didn't like so much, and I was eager to try something new, so I went for c5. Also to surprise him a little bit, which certainly was successful. He only reckoned with e5. Yeah, what did we get? We get the Kalashnikov Sicilian, an opening that I played a couple of times in blitz chess, but never in a tournament game. Yeah, I always liked it, this opening. It's a Sicilian, obviously, and has this kind of ready-made non-symmetrical nature, so it's fighting. And on the positive note, it's not one of those Sicilians where white is going to get a kingside attack, which I don't really like that much. So the Najdorf or the classical Sicilian is not the line for me. Also, I've played the Sveshnikov quite often in earlier years, in the 90s, early 2000s. So I have some experience with the position type. Okay, he went c4, bishop e7, b3. Yeah, b3. This line was very much in fashion for a while in the 90s, but then it also went out of fashion back again. I wasn't completely surprised by the move. He had played it before in a game, but when I was preparing, I really had to start from scratch because, I have this excellent book by Tony Rotella The Killer Sicilian it is called. Very, very nice book about this opening. And I looked through some of the lines, but I really couldn't prepare this opening as a whole. It was a bit dicey to play it anyway, without super big knowledge. What I did know that b3, knight f6 is played, and now they normally play bishop to d3. This is what I remembered. And yeah, after bishop b3, I wanted to to just play normal moves, yeah, like castles, and maybe knight d7, yeah, going to c5, then maybe bishop e6, a6, this kind of thing. It's an interesting strategic struggle. Black, of course, has given up control over d5, but he's got a good foothold in the center. He's got knight on c5, and very often, yeah, not very often, but sometimes you get in a knight to d4. It would be really nice long term. Bishop g5 is also, of course, an idea to trade off this somewhat bad bishop. Yeah, this was what I reckoned with, what I expected, but he played knight to c3 and rather quickly. Yeah, and I really thought, wow, is this any good? And then I started to come up or to calculate quite a bit. And then I went for the following line: a6, knight a3, and I went queen a5. This is a very direct way to try to exploit White's move order. Yeah, those two knights, they are not very harmonious on c3 and a3. The c3 knight is hanging. There is this threat, of course, and a3 is also potentially vulnerable. Yeah, after queen a5, White only has one move, queen d2. That's the only move. Otherwise, I'm just winning material, of course. Yeah, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, let's say he does that. I can take the first problem, or d5. That's the second problem, which shows why this knight is also a vulnerability. Yeah, he really only has queen d2. Yeah, and here I came up with a very, very aggressive move, which is maybe debatable, but once I started to calculate it, it was too interesting not to play, and I went for it. I went d5. That's, of course, yeah, always a great move if you manage to play it. Yeah, this kind of breakthrough on the square where the opponent is like controlling it perfectly. c4, e4, knight on c3, the queen on d2, and still d5 is a playable move. It's quite interesting, and it is playable, but I'm not really that convinced if it is the best way to go. Yeah, so what happens now? White can take with all kinds of moves. Only, in fact, there are only one or two that are really completely bad, but let's have a look. He took with the knight, which is probably the simplest move in comparison. Let's start. E takes, the first move. That's interesting. Yeah, the interesting point is that after bishop b4, yeah, I'm threatening knight e4, but after knight a1, a to b1, this is not really that great. Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, and now the queen is attacked, and White gets a third piece. That's quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, three pieces is quite something for the queen, and he is quite well coordinated. So, what does this mean? Bishop b4 is playable, but I probably have to do something like this. Knight d4, and now I'm threatening knight to b3, taking there. It's really a messy position, and I couldn't really evaluate it over the board, but he also avoided it. It's interesting, this line. At first you might think it's not playable at all. The same actually applies for this capture, where at first you think, oh wait, this is not going to work at all. Yeah, bishop b4. Okay, but White has knight c4, and that's not clear at all. Yeah, bishop takes, knight takes, bishop takes a5, takes, and really it's just equal material, and White will be able to save his bishop. This is better for White. But I have other ideas. I can, and this is what I wanted to play, of course. I wanted to go here, with this, and then bishop b4. Yeah, winning a crucial tempo. Even this is not totally clear. Knight d6 check. Yeah, and then takes on c6. It looks crazy, but this is not a clear position. White has 3 minor pieces, and it's not so clear that I win one of them. It's really completely unclear, this this line. Yeah, amazing. There were other ideas even. There also was, let me look at it, where is it? Yeah, here. After knight d5 actually. Now he took with a knight, and here it was interesting. Here I originally only had calculated queen takes d2, and when we had this position I actually thought, okay, well, it's not the only move actually. There are other ones. And for example, the move bishop b4 is quite interesting. Yeah, white has to take, knight takes, and now I'm threatening knight e4, and then the double check on c2. f3 is the only move, and then castles. This is a funny position. White has very little development, and I get in rook d8 with a tempo, but it's very difficult to find something concrete here. Yeah, white always can put the queen on c3. Yeah, let's say here, yeah, like here, rook d8, and maybe even queen e3 is even possible. Rook d1. I don't know. It looks weird. Yeah, there's some compensation, but one problem is that the dark squares are pretty much in control by white. Sometimes bishop e3 is a move, if I give the check, for example. Yeah, it's not a convincing continuation. Another interesting move is knight to b4, by the way. Here there are very, very strange positions that can arise, like f3. Yeah, and now, for example, knight fd5, c takes, knight d3 check, bishop takes, bishop b4, knight c4, bishop takes, queen somewhere. Yeah, let's say here, I don't know. Yeah, and bishop b4. I mean, what I'm getting at is, if you look at this, black is a queen up, but how happy are you in this position? Yeah, white has 2 strong minor pieces, is an excellent knight, and I mean something like this is getting somewhat ugly. Yeah, strange. Yeah, but white has some very decent compensation, like here, and then just castles, rook c1, hard to entangle. Yeah, okay, I took on d2 ultimately. Yeah, here it was interesting. He very quickly now took with the king, sort of. I mean, I wasn't totally sure what to do after bishop d2, actually. Yeah, the thing is, knight c7 is a threat, and this is a really unclear situation. Yeah, maybe to d7. Knight b4. The idea is king c6 and then trapping this.
Check.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in this position. It's kind of weird, yeah. Two stranded knights. Pretty unclear. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, I also have king e7, by the way. This is also possible. Knight takes and knight e4. This is what I actually had, yeah, in mind, but it is very difficult to evaluate. I'm an exchange down, but I have some play, of course. I have the momentum, yeah, and very difficult for white to play. If he does that, for example, bishop e6, yeah. And now bishop c5 is a possibility. Rook d8. I'm very well developed. I'm an exchange down, but the development is very, very nice. Let's say here, intending e4, intending bishop b4. I have a very nice initiative. I know it looks maybe not that clear. the queens are traded and so on, but black is very, very active. If you look at it with a computer, it gives it as equal. Very, very difficult to play. Yeah, it was an interesting alternative, this this bishop takes. I don't really know what he didn't like there, but he took with the king. Yeah, and here knight takes. This was the idea. King e4. And yeah, here the key position. This is actually what I had calculated when I went for queen a5. Yeah, I looked up to this point, and yeah, it is of course critical. Yeah, the knight is hanging, and there's knight c7. But the thing is, I can just play. I have two moves actually: bishop f5 or pawn f5. I went for pawn to f5, and yeah, the reason is I thought that this is the more fighting move in a way. After bishop f5, this is actually attractive. Yeah, bishop c5 is a nice threat, and white can absolutely not check. Yeah, this is leading to a complete disaster. It's quite funny, this position, if you look at it, something like that, with all the pieces attacking, the knights and bishops. Yeah, there are even some funny quick checkmates. Yeah,
checkmate.
That's quite nice. I don't have that too often. So very nice attacking possibilities. But okay, white is not blundering with knight c7. He can take on e7. And now the problem is that after king takes, there's bishop d3, and this knight is a big problem. There's no way to go. This is the problem, hanging with check. Yeah, so knight e7 is the move. And here, well, I thought that this is certainly okay for me, but I somehow felt that f5 would pose him more problems. Here he can play, I mean, not all move. Yeah, it's not like it's he can do everything, but like here, or maybe f3, knight back, and something like that. Yeah, and then f6. I mean, black is okay, but I felt I don't pose too many problems there. This is why I went for f5. Again, if he wants to grab material, it won't end well.
Check.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. Yeah, like here.
Check. Check. Checkmate.
Yeah. Even that is a mate. Yeah, funny, very funny. Yeah, okay, he has to take on e7, yeah, and he did that. He did that quickly. The idea now was that here I can actually take with the king, and I wanted to get this in because knight d4 is an attractive looking move, or sometimes knight b4. This position is okay for white, but he has to play exactly one continuation now, which is not that difficult to find. But he didn't evaluate correctly what he played. What he should do is f3. Maybe I can only speculate. I didn't look at the game. We didn't look at the game afterwards. One reason was that the games were played pretty late in the evening, and normally after the game the only thing you wanted to is maybe have a little snack or maybe have a beer and go to bed or something. It was just too late to do anything. Maybe he was a little bit afraid or irritated by the move f4. That's possible. Yeah, because it is a bit scary. White has to take now, and this king doesn't have many squares. Yeah. Rook d8, for example, would threaten rook d4 mate. But after bishop b2, king f6, threatening mate again, there's always g4. And this will save white. I mean, saving in terms of winning. So maybe he was somewhat irritated by some of those possibilities. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. But he should play f3. I have to go back then. There's no alternative. f4 is not on. And then king f2. And this position is, I think, about equal. At first I was even thinking, oh, am I worse here? Yeah, the bishops. But it's not a really big problem. I just have to play like king move, and then I have rook d8. Or something like this. The reason why this is okay for black is I have very good central control. The knights are active, and his knight on a3 is really a bad piece. Yeah? He has to reroute it. Let's say something like this. Bishop here, knight c3, rook d8. This is the kind of situation that we will get, like here. And then I can go knight d4, knight b4, one of those moves. And I think it's about equal. I can always make sure to get one bishop back by taking on e2 if I want. This is what he should have done, but he played f4. And here he has, I don't know exactly what, but here he has misevaluated something. But I didn't exploit it to the fullest. Yeah, I took on f4.
Check.
Of course, and the king captured. Yeah, g5 check, that's good. Oops, I'm sorry.
Check.
The g5 check and king to e3. Yeah, and now I make a mistake. The only real mistake I think in the game. Yeah, I simply violated I simply violated this principle of candidate moves. I mean, to be honest, I had spent quite some time in the earlier phase when I went for queen a5 and so on. But still, I mean, I definitely had enough time here. Black here has a fantastic move. I mean, fantastic. A very good move that that gives him clearly the better chances. I think it's almost winning. But I mean, I didn't find it. Maybe you can treat this as a little exercise. Black to play and get a very, very clear advantage. Yeah, I'll be silent a couple of seconds here. Yeah, the move is rook e8. I didn't really think about it. I mean, what I played is rook d8. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, open file, prevent bishop b3, maybe knight d4 is in, knight e5, g4 is in, this kind of thing. And I didn't really look much further. I thought I liked my chances after rook d8 and went for it. But rook e8 is much stronger. The idea is simply black wants to move the king, and then he has a monster discovery with the knight. It's very, very difficult for white to even play a move here. If he goes, let's say g3 or something, yeah. Looking at the f4 square, I'm going here. And what are you doing now? Yeah, I'm threading this kind of thing. Okay, here I go here. Takes, check, and takes. Yeah, you're going to get completely annihilated here by all those pieces. Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very strong, this rook e8 move. The strongest defense is bishop d3, and here black has a great continuation. f4 check. King takes, and bishop g4. And this is really great. Look at this. Black has a threat here. King discoveries. Yeah, let's say here.
Checkmate.
Mate. That's the big threat. Yeah, so what should white play? Probably king d5. Yeah, and now, how does black play? King d7. Threatening rook e5, mate. Rook e5, mate. King c7. Okay, check. Or king c5. Check.
Checkmate.
And mate. Or alternatively here to threaten bishop c8 mate. And it's impossible to prevent, yeah. White can play some kamikaze moves, yeah. And this is coming next with mate. Funny, yeah? I'm not saying you should calculate all this stuff when you play rook e8, but the idea to play rook e8, king away, and check, this is just very strong. It didn't occur to me. It was a case where, which sometimes happens to me, I see a decent move and then I go for it, yeah? And, yeah, rook d8. Knight c2. And knight e5. This was my original idea, yeah, going for this this thing, knight g4 and so on. We went here, Knight c3. Yeah, this one was an idea as well with rook d8. I want to go f4 check. However, while the position is not easy for white to play, it's still a little bit shaky with the king. He is okay now, and he played correctly at first. g3, yeah, to prevent f4. That's a very logical move. And I went king to f6. By now I had spotted some of those ideas. Yeah, rook e8. But the main idea of king f6 is, of course, f4 check. And this is what he completely ignored, to my surprise. I was expecting a move like rook e1, rook f1, like this, for example, after which f4 is not on. Of course, he can take with the rook at the end. And here, there's nothing special going on. I mean, I was thinking that I can maybe take and, I don't know, can I do b5? I'm not quite sure. Rook e8 was a simple kind of solution. It's still a little bit easier for black to play because these pawns are somewhat dangerous and his king is slightly shaky here. Yeah, I have sometimes these kind of ideas. I still would prefer black in a practical game, but objectively speaking, he is okay. Yeah, he went bishop b2, and this is, I believe, almost losing. I don't really see how he saves himself after that.
Check.
f4 check is just coming.
Check.
And I don't know what he overlooked here. It's pretty straightforward. White cannot take. I'm just taking with check. And I have bishop g4. Maybe he overlooked that one. I don't know. Bishop g4. It keeps everything together. And rook d3 is in threat. This is just a piece, really. You have to be a little bit careful, but it's an extra piece. Yeah, he went here. And now everything is coming with a tempo. That's very important. Knight e2. King takes. Check. And now white only has one move. He has to go to e1. There's no real alternative. If he goes there, I'm going to d2 immediately. So I had to go there. Yeah, and here it took a moment. I wasn't sure. I only had a couple of minutes left. It's important for this tournament to know that we played 90 minutes for the whole game and 30-second increment from move 1. So this is a very quick time control in comparison to many other classical time controls. And at this point I was down to a couple of minutes and I had to be really quick. Yeah, I mean, not spend time on something unimportant and yeah, I went king f5. I wasn't completely sure that this is the best move, but I thought that it probably is sufficient. It unpins, obviously, and it forces white to take on e5. And you can argue maybe white had to take on e5 anyway, so maybe a rook move was better. For example, I was thinking briefly that something like rook d3 might be good, but I wanted to keep it simple, and king f5, it threatens this check and this check. He has to take it. And I saw that this position is excellent. It's a case where the black has advantage in space, the f-pawn, the bishop is much stronger than this knight. And yeah, I'm just attacking. This is an attacking position. I didn't see any defense here, and I don't think there is any. He went rook g1, which makes this a little bit easier. Knight b4 was a little bit tougher, but I still don't think white can save himself. I still play king here, and I have bishop f3 coming. This is the big issue. This bishop on f3 is dominating this knight completely. Still, this is tougher than the game. In the game, he went here. And now it's even more problematic. He's now just too late with the knight. I have this strong move, rook d4. I'm glad that I saw this one. It makes sure that after a possible knight d5, I'm attacking with both rooks. And this is actually already a checkmate, yeah, in some cases. Like this. Or if we go here. Yeah, what did he do actually? He played rook g2, yeah. Yeah, bishop h3 now was an interesting. No, sorry, the check first, of course, went here, and now bishop h3 was even a little bit stronger. But it's a matter of, if you look at it in computer terms, between like +8 or +5. What I did see is I saw a line that wins, and this is why I went for it. This is very straightforward. king has to move, and now bishop a3. And here he actually already resigned. It's really over. I'm threatening to push all the way through with the f pawn. That's a bit much. Yeah, I'm pushing this pawn. He has no defense. The only thing that he can try is start with this here, checking.
Check.
But the king is just going forward.
Check.
And that's it. Yeah, threatening checkmate. If he moves this
Check.
away. Yeah, I'm having rook g5, bishop g2 mate. Yeah, so as mentioned, in this position here, he already, after here, bishop h3, he did resign. So this was a good start of this tournament, my first round. Yeah, a very complicated game, quite interesting, and unfortunately, this was the only really good game that I played in this event. But we come to that from this the good, the bad, and the ugly part. This was the good part, starting with that one, and the bad part is coming, I guess, tomorrow. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. I guess it was quite interesting. Thanks for watching.